welcome to the show. It's called Five Guys and You. We do this every Thursday right here on YouTube and Facebook and Twitch and Twitter. So thank you for joining us. And don't forget to go ahead and hit the button, subscribe, like, and share. And if you can, run over to Facebook and do the same. Not Facebook, but YouTube. Do the same because we're trying to build up our YouTube crowd over there because it's kind of lacking a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not ashamed to say that we need more users over on YouTube. That's why we're trying to grow that audience over there because it's relatively new for us. Anyway. We do this every Thursday at this time, depending on your time zone. Over on the East Coast is 9. In the Midwest, it's 8. And out here on the West Coast, it's 6 p.m. If you're in the mountain zone, you must be a goat. So you figure it out because like Arizona and some of those states have 2 or 3 different time zones at the same time. I can't deal with that. It's too much for the old man, okay? So y'all figure it out. I just told you the basics. So thank you for joining us. Five Guys and You. Let me bring the crew in right now. Here he is, Mr. BoomShockalaka himself, Chris Bass in the house.
As you say, like a child on punishment. How you doing, Lee?
On lockdown.
Yes, sir. How's everything?
I'm good, man. I'm good in the hood. Another day, another year. I'm happy. I could play that song and do that happy dance right now.
Yeah, I recall you doing that. The song came out back in the day. You was actually dancing.
Right.
You didn't do it. Hey, I was proud of you. You know, no lumbago, no knees coming out. You was doing all right.
And you jackasses put that on the internet.
Yeah, we did.
Showed me dancing at Urban Broadcast Media, whatever. And that was wrong. Y'all shouldn't have done that.
Whatever, right?
Like I can't.
Oh,
right?
Man. So today's topic on my end. For those of you enjoying the NBA playoffs, as well you should. It's a great time to enjoy basketball. And as you know, the arena's been filled now, 15,000 capacity, per arena from coast to coast. But we have these so-called fans, who I call fanatics, losing what's left of their damn minds. Talk about that soon.
It's crazy, man. I don't understand, but we'll dig more into that in just a few. That's going to be an interesting topic because I say... Well, I won't say what I'm going to say, but let me jump over to the professor because I'm not sure that he's going to be with us the whole time because he's on his way to school.
Hey,
what's up,
man? How you doing? It's great to be with the guys. I won't be in funkadelic mode at all tonight, but I might jump back in as soon as I get finished doing what I'm doing. But Bass, that sounds like a great combo that you about to get into. You know. Because I haven't looked at an NBA game since the NBA games.
Okay. You're not a big fan, I assume.
Since Jordan been gone, it hasn't been too exciting for me.
You know what? It's interesting that you say that because I'm in that same boat. I mean, LeBron James, I'm not a LeBron James fan. I could give a damn about him. You know, no disrespect, but
right.
He hasn't caught my goat yet. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
He's just another egotistical player in my book. But what do I know?
Well, one thing he did do, that Dreamland, that Black Wall Street documentary or that presentation, that was tight.
No, he's done some good things, but just as a player, you know,
that Dreamland was tight, though.
Yeah.
Him and Maverick Carter produced that.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, that was tight. I like that.
We got the doctor in the house.
Yo, what's up, y'all? Glad to be back here in the house. I do not have a hangover anymore from the birthday party that we threw Lee Michaels on last week. Man, I tell you, boy, the next couple of days after that, I was holding my head talking about, man, it was just too much love in the air, man. It just made me drunk. You know?
Got drunk, okay.
Yeah, I got drunk off of the love that you was getting,
Yeah, well, I was drunk on it too. Y'all really surprised me. I had no clue.
Well, good.
Y'all were going to pull that off. You did a good one. Thank you.
Yeah, you are worth that and more. Okay.
Well, I don't know about that, but okay.
Yeah. Today, I ran across some information that indicates that white folks don't like to be called racist. So we're going to talk about that today. Yeah.
Well, stop doing racist shit. You'll be okay, right?
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Well, that ought to be a hot one.
Yeah,
Francisco.
yeah.
Hey.
The chocolate Yoddah.
Yeah.
What's
I
happening?
actually do have a topic. I didn't let you guys know about it, but
What?
I want to talk about May 25th, 1965. And I'll tell you all about it when we get to it.
May 25th, 1965. Well, I'll tell you the Temptations, My Girl, was out around that time, so and I was playing it on the radio, but that exact day, and that's 3 days before my 15th birthday, so that's what I can tell you on that shit.
You know the old joke, Lee knows what's in the Constitution because he was in the room when it was written.
That's
I know
right.
That's right.
And don't get it twisted. All right.
I stole that from Bill Maher, by the way. So
That's a good one. That's a good one. All right. I tell you what, Professor, you want to chop up a little bit? Because I know you. Are you?
No, I yield my
How much time? Okay. How much time are you going to be on?
I would say another 5 minutes.
Okay. All right.
And then I'll come back later.
Okay. Cool. You're gonna have a short class tonight, huh?
Yes.
I don't blame you. I wouldn't waste my time on them silly, crazy ass kids. No how.
No, I got a good bunch, but you know, it's once the introductions were good.
Now, what are you teaching? What are you?
Broadcast management.
Oh, nice. Ooh, I think we ought to do a open camera, open mic on your class. Will they allow you to do that? Stream it?
I could check that out.
Yeah, I think we should do that.
I got two great young ladies that's gonna. Wow, we got to freshen up the entire station. And
Yeah.
they're gonna learn from ship to stern, from adding music, learning the music scheduler, different philosophies. So I will call you, and
Cool.
different moods, and a whole bunch of things on programming.
Oh, that'd be fun. Yeah.
And some fun stuff, because basically I told them we're gonna just have some fun the entire semester, because we're just gonna retool the station.
Now, are you anxious to get back in the classroom with the kids?
It's like I got this fear. I'm scared, right? First day back. I haven't been on campus like in over a year.
Wow.
In over a year, and I had extra training for the online sessions. I had a great class. It was called High Impact Online Training, and it was a great class. And one of the persons that was doing it from the Gardner Institute, I had met her many, many years ago. And it's just really amazing. And then a former colleague of mine at Western Kentucky University, he reached out to me. Well, if you can't come, can you send somebody else? So I'm like sending out fielders for guys who got MAs and got some broadcast and journalism training, or even audio training, and to go, because Western Kentucky, that's an awesome place. That's an awesome place. So I was flattered that after 9 years, I did a teaching there 9 years ago, and he reached out to me. Nice. Miles, can you come back? Look, man, I'm here with a 14-year-old daughter.
That's cool.
Well, send me somebody you train.
That's nice. That says a lot about you. You obviously made a great impression there, and for them to call you back these many years later, that's incredible.
Right.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Right.
All right. Well, have a great class tonight, and give them hell. Don't take no prisoners. Yeah.
Yes,
please
sir.
do. That'll be good. All right. Be safe out on the road there. It looks like you're driving.
Yes, I am, and I'll be done, and I'll see you guys in a few.
Roger.
All All right.
Okay, Chris, you want to kick it off?
Yeah. Thank you very much. So, for those of you again, watching NBA, playoffs, it's nice. You see the arenas being full again, filled, not with people online with big head, giant heads, all that crap going on. Actually, seeing real people with big heads. That's a whole different thing. So everybody, is going back to enjoying life. Once again, 15,000 capacity for these arenas from coast to coast NBA playoffs, and it's good until you have these knuckleheads coming out. They're definitely, I think, going beyond white privilege and copycat mentality. Let's start with Russell Westbrook from the Washington Wizards. Had popcorn thrown on him during the 76ers playoff series. Also during the Celtics Nets series, Brooklyn guard Kyrie Irving was nearly hit by a water bottle because he stomped on the Boston Celtics logo. And you saw that leprechaun named Lucky. And he used to play for Boston. There was some love lost, and when they won the series, he went on Lucky's face and stomped on it. And someone got, how dare he stomp on? This is a logo of mine. This is not a real person. And threw a water bottle at him. And then they have in New York, a spectator spit or spat on Atlanta Hawks guard Trae Young. He was about to inbound the ball versus the Knicks. Now, this knucklehead had taken down his mask, spit towards Trae Young, and obviously spit and spat on the spectators that were in the rows in front of him. Then there were the three fans that were banned in Utah after the Grizzlies guard Ja Moran's parents were yelled at with racial epithets. This is beyond stupid. And again, I think Brooklyn player Kevin Durant said it best. And I'm paraphrasing him, but he meant the following. You should be embarrassed talking to the fans out there. Y'all should grow, and I'm pointing him, grow the fuck up. It's not about you. We are human beings, not a human zoo, as he called it. Your mother did not raise you this way to react and throw popcorn or spit on NBA players. And that really hit it home. Depending on your home training, I'm sure your mother or father or both did not require you to act this way. You along the way became this, knucklehead. And so I believe that the NBA players, and they probably will go in this direction, anything happens to them, immediately prosecute the fan. Because now we're seeing the difference between a fan and a fanatic. And a fanatic is the one that just goes overboard. He or she lives and breathes the team and probably sometimes don't really have a grip on reality at times. When you have the audacity to spit, throw popcorn. Now, mind you, this is like a soft indirection that happened back on January 6th at the Capitol. This is white privilege. If we go deeper into it, a lot of these cats could not have cut it being an athlete. They were probably rinky-dinks, didn't have any talent, and then they couldn't cut the grade in grammar school or high school or college or whatever, and they live vicariously through these various sports. And then when they're actually there, they feel they have the right to show the disdain. And not only that, you cannot just throw them out the building, because here's the thing. Not all these fans have the money to come there all the time. That, to go to NBA like any other sporting event costs. So you probably won it from a radio station or an online event, or somebody came to tickets, or they saved up. So it's a one and done in time for them anyway. What you should do is prosecute them, put them under the jail, or hell, build a new jail, and then put their asses under that to make sure the message gets clear. I'm sure I think when I have NBA players, they're going to have to get together and go to the NBA, take a stance, because this could be, now I hate to say this, it could be a dry run for something very serious. It's not taken care of right now.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I've got an opinion about what's happening in the sports world and, well, in the world in general, but certainly the behavior of the fans is unacceptable. They need to calm down and stop taking this thing so serious. And maybe they just need to stop serving alcohol at these things, because these guys get drunk and get belligerent and act a damn fool. I don't know. And I know there's a lot of money made in that booze, but maybe they need to think about that. And certainly banning these guys, which I understand they're doing, And I hope they all had season passes for about $15,000 and no refunds. Maybe they need to feel that kind of financial, pain,
Right.
to be more respectful.
I got a question. Do you think that any of this behavior might be geared towards the NBA players that protested some of the George Floyd and some of the community unrest that was going on, and some of these
Might be.
guys are just,
Yeah.
trying to show their disgust towards players,
Could be.
because of that?
Nothing would surprise me.
I go along with that.
Well, if
Absolutely.
these guys are as stupid as we assume they are, then we might be giving them too much credit.
It could be too. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
world seems to be out of spin, man. I mean, you got a 12 and a 14-year-old breaking into a house, stealing guns, and taking on the cops like they're Grand Theft Auto.
All right.
I mean, come on.
Like
What?
the video game. Yeah.
But see, I mean, come on, man. That's the kind of impact that this stuff has. It's so real that they get wrapped up into this.
That's right.
That whole thing, man, is scary. Kids now doing
Yeah.
outlandish things and crazy behavior. And I don't know, man. I when I heard that story, I went, "Are you kidding me? This can't be real." But it is. A 12-year-old and a 14-year-old. How do they even know how to handle a gun? Obviously not too well, because were any of the cops injured from the gunfire? Or they're just like doing like this, bam, 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 turning it sideways and turning your head.
Right.
Yeah, because they saw that in the video.
Yeah, break them off.
Usually people that
Yeah.
stupid wind up shooting themselves or one of their friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I think to
But how
Chris's
sad is that?
story, I think, pardon me, I think I'd like to ask, why is America this way? Because the conversation about the repercussions or the consequences in jail and all, that doesn't interest me, because that's after the fact. I want to understand why Americans are so crass and so uncouth and so uneducated that they believe that the price of a ticket entitles them to abuse and assault another human being.
Good question.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's easy. I mean, you can answer your own question with their Chocolate Yoda. It's entitlement. It goes back to that. And we have to go back historical wise, and we've been through that already. I understand that. But once again, that mentality to watch an event and to separate yourself, okay, I can do what the hell I want to do because I, in my mind, is dominant over these players. I'm not making $1 million contract. I don't have a shoe deal. I'm not as talented these people are. So let me show my disdain. It's a level of mentality that shows that I am better than you.
Yeah, I agree, and it's supported by something that Chris Rock said in the '90s. He talked about how good America is for white people. He said, even someone living in a trailer park wouldn't trade places with me, and I'm rich. Right.
Yeah.
So I think you're 100% right. This sense of entitlement that goes very, very deep, and again goes back to slave owner days. It's America does not see black and brown people who dominate sports as people. They just see them as just it's a high price plantation when you get right down to it, right? Because people forget that slaves were paid also. All right. So now the new slaves are giving their bodies to sports, and the owners are making billions and billions of dollars. And again, Chris Rock said something about, you want to know the difference between being rich and being wealthy? He said Shaquille O'Neal is rich. The guy who signs his check is wealthy.
That's right.
So
Big
that's
difference.
the system that we're still under, where people glamorize professional athletes because they are elite and because they are talented and they work hard, but they wind up sacrificing their bodies, and most of them don't even hold on to their money anyway. Within 5 years, most of them have lost their money. So it's
I wish
just
they
a
would.
high price plantation.
Yeah, they need to convert that celebrity and all that money into ownership.
And some of them have.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know Jason Williams personally. He has done that. He's done many businesses. Shaq has done many businesses, but
I'm
that's
talking about
not the
ownership of the
average
league.
player.
Yeah.
Yeah. That too.
Buy
That
franchise.
too.
Yeah.
Of course, they put up a lot of hurdles for that because that's the realm of the oppressor. So yeah, it's a tale as old as time, and that's really at the heart of all of this because there's no logical reason why someone buys a ticket to a sporting event and thinks that they can behave this way.
Now, spitting on someone, isn't that a felony?
It is. It's assault.
Yeah. Yeah.
And all I can say
That's
is if
pretty
someone
low.
did that to me, because that's adding insult to injury.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
when you're spitting at me, like Chris said, you're telling me that you think I'm nothing. That's
Yeah.
like if a dude
Less
smacks
than.
you with the back of his hand, he's telling you he has no regard for you. Right. And so if you tell me that you have no regard for me, then all bets are off. And you're gonna smack me, but I'm gonna ruin your day.
Yeah.
I like that.
I think I would lose my cool and collectiveness if somebody spat on me. I think that
All bets are off. All
Yeah.
bets are off. You've
Yep.
assaulted me. You've insulted me. It's done.
Yeah. Got ass whipping coming.
And you
right.
guys are from
Hands
Chicago,
on me.
right? So you remember what Sean Connery said in The Untouchables. If he brings a knife, you bring a gun. If he puts one of
Right.
yours in the hospital, you put one of theirs in the morgue. That is
That's
my
right.
personal philosophy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he said, that's Chicago way.
Yeah.
That's how you
That's the
home.
So
Chicago way.
if you
That's everywhere.
spit on me, what you're telling me is that you are done with life.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's it. You don't want to live anymore. Look, somebody spat on me. Hey, I put it like this: lights out, everybody. And that's it. 'Cause I'm lights out in my mind. I'm trying to take you out. And I will take you out because that's
Right.
no more you. That's
You
it.
might miss a birthday. You'll be unconscious so long.
I hit you so hard your ancestors will pass out.
Oh my goodness.
You're like,
That's
there's gonna
good.
be 2 hits.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit you, and then you hit the floor. And 2
Right.
hits. That's all we need.
Boom.
Yeah.
All right, Yoda, you want to go next or you want
Yeah,
Dr.
sure.
Ron?
Sure, mine is short and sweet. It's really just a commemoration. I was somewhere, I think I was at a diner, and I saw a poster for a sporting event that took place May 25th, 1965. And it happened to be Muhammad Ali fighting Sonny Liston for the second time. But what was notable about that, aside from the hurting he put on Liston, which has a lot of controversy to it, by the way, but that was the first time that Cassius Clay had fought as Muhammad Ali.
Was that? Okay. Yeah. Now, the first time was it Liston that broke his Cassius Clay's jaw? Or was that somebody else?
That was somebody else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that was
That was
it
Joe
George
Frazier.
Foreman or
No, Joe. I think it was Joe Frazier, didn't it?
Joe Frazier. Yes,
Yeah,
Joe
yeah.
Frazier.
Because Joe Frazier and him fought 3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah, but that particular night, on May 25th, it's notable for that watershed moment because you got to remember Ali took a lot of heat for joining the Nation of Islam, so much so that Martin was denouncing him for doing that. More black on black crime even back then at that level,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But I have immense respect for Muhammad Ali because just to put things in context, this was a man who at the height of his physical prowess, at the height of his earning capacity, he said, I would rather walk away than do the bidding of the American military. He took a stand. He said straight out, if you want to put me in front of a firing squad, go ahead and do that. But I am not going to go to another country and kill the yellow man for the white man. The yellow man has never done anything to me. That was a beyond bold statement because how many people are willing to put their flesh on the line for an ideal? Okay,
Yep.
he deserves all of our respect. He was a giant among men, And May 25th, 1965 was just another watershed moment for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
What a great guy.
Yeah, he was. He had a press conference with the leading stars of many sports like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Jim Brown. You know, there were many people that stood with him in that moment when he did that press conference. Yes. Yeah, it was outstanding.
And great Bill Russell, the Celtics great, was there with the press conference as well. That
Yeah.
was like Mount Rushmore of black giants. When you see that picture being snapped, and like for me, the intertwining, of course, as Yodam had mentioned about Muhammad Ali, his spiritual advisor, as you know, was Malcolm X during that time. He was with him in Miami, helped spiritually training him. And as you know, the story, when Muhammad Ali was being brought, this before he got the name, obviously, when he submitted himself and became part of the Nation of Islam, it was supposed to be the end of the 90-day silence of the Malcolm X. He was supposed to return, but they gave him Malcolm X the stiff arm and brought in Muhammad Ali. So all that happened in that same timeline. It was amazing how we saw the dynamic of change. I've always said this too. When you go back and look at the speeches that Malcolm X was saying, the one who really carried the message was Muhammad Ali. When he started to talk to the students at various universities and colleges, he would have the message from the black man, promoted that, and he could have been a fantastic, and he was in his own right, civil rights leader from the stylings of a Malcolm X. He was fantastic.
Yeah, and the impact of his stand and the things that he said and did, his accomplishments, still live on today. Just like What's Going On from Marvin Gaye. That album is so relevant today, as relevant as it was.
That song sounds like it could have been written yesterday.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Mercy, Mercy Me, the ecology. We're still dealing with the same issues that he sang about 40, 50 years ago. So, those are two iconic history-making individuals from about the same era.
Yeah. And
amazing.
When they were talking about how Marvin put that song together, he did the lead vocals, the backing vocals. He did the Congo, the bomb. He did first string, second string, and all that was him. When you hear the people in the background, hey man, what's happening? That was from the Detroit Lions players, football team. So all these elements he put together. Someone asked him, "How did you put this masterpiece together?" He said, "He worked through me." That's a strong statement to say, and that's what happened.
I didn't know that was the football players that was in that little intro
he
there.
He knew some guys from the NFL, Detroit Lions. Wow. They came to the studio. Hey man, what's happening? That's all of them.
Wow, I never heard that. Okay, it makes sense. During that time, and that was happening. The Lions.
Detroit
the Lions sleep tonight.
They're still sleeping. I think they weren't, but still they made some vocalists.
They were like the Bears.
Right.
Yep. Yeah.
Poor Bears.
Yeah.
At least I was there in Chicago when they won the Super Bowl. What was that, 85?
1985.
Right? That was a cold ass day too, boy.
Yes, sir.
Because I know we went downtown and everybody was out in the streets, and I remember there was this guy on another guy's shoulders, and he had taken his shirt off, and he had been out there so long. One of his friends came up and put their hand on his back, and it left a handprint there. This guy was damn near dead. Didn't know.
Wow.
It was so cold,
Yeah.
It was an amazing event to see there. It was one of my favorite days in Chicago when they won, and we went out in the streets and partied and had a good time,
Yeah, I was actually in New Orleans while that game was going on. They played in the Superdome. And outstanding party, I might say. Yeah, all those people from the East Coast, New England fans, man, they had dick looks on their face all night long, boy.
The agony of defeat.
Oh my God. Oh my God. They were sad. They were so sad, boy. Cause they whooped the dog snot out of New England, boy. Yep, for sure, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. It was a good game though. It was a real good game. Yeah.
It still pains me that Walter Payton scored in that Super Bowl game. That still haunts me, man, because he should have got something in, man.
Well, by him being a team player, he got him there.
True.
They got there on his back. So he didn't have a problem, at all, with the Super Bowl victory that they had. He was cool with it. Yes, it was said that, he felt like he should have got a chance to score. But, I think he was bigger than that. He was like, man, we won. What else could there be? Yeah. Yeah. And no, that is not a stripper name in there nowhere,
It is if I say there is.
I seen that look on your face coming up. You finna get us one.
That happens 20 times a minute.
I know
I
that's
just filter those out.
Okay, gotcha.
By the way, one last piece of trivia regarding Muhammad Ali. A lot of people don't know that there was a short window where before he converted completely to the name Muhammad Ali, where he was referred to as Cassius X.
Cassius X.
That's right.
Yeah,
I remember
that's
that.
the name that Malcolm had given him. And then once he converted all the way, Elijah Muhammad, changed it to completely. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know who coined the phrase "float like a butterfly, sting like a bee"?
His trainer, Bundini Brown.
No, his wife.
I with Bundini Brown.
Oh.
Yeah. I was told by his wife she came up with that. You remember meeting her at UBM? Were you there that day when she came through?
I was there that day.
Oh, okay. She told me that she was the one that inspired that.
Well,
you gotta believe her.
Shit.
And my question is, which wife? Because he had a bunch of them.
Well, the one that he was married to at the time.
The one that was what?
He was married to at the time.
Okay. In the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she was the first wife. She's the one that favored him to become Muslim.
Oh, man.
Oh, shit. I got a phone number here. I should call her.
I think she passed away.
No.
Not this one. Then that must have been the second one then. Because the first one he had passed away.
Yeah, this wife lives in Florida.
Yeah, the one I'm speaking of, she was also a singer.
No.
Yeah.
Damn it. Oh, it'll come to me in a sec. I got her in my phone book. I haven't talked to her in quite a while, but we text from time to time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
she loves me. She's in love with me.
I talked to people who worked out with the camp, kept telling me it was Bundini Brown, Lady Brown, to twilight. It was his first wife.
That went right under, right?
Wait till I create the next excerpt.
Listen. He was still alive when she expressed her feelings with me. I said, I ain't messing with you as long as that man is alive. Are you crazy? Well, that's my ex. I don't give a damn. He can knock me out.
Yeah.
Yep. No, that's too funny, man. But I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Chris, but I threw one of those under breath things in and they caught it. You know me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We do know you.
Yes, sir. That's how I roll.
Uh-huh.
So have we covered all the stories?
Not yet. We got one more to go.
We got you, Dr. Ron.
Yes, sir.
Take the
Yes,
stage.
yes, sir. You know, as we all have been paying attention on the media outlet, mainstream media on this week, we know that it was the 100-year anniversary of the massacre in Oklahoma on Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And I noticed that on this week, I caught a statement from the governor of Oklahoma, the state of Oklahoma, Governor Stitt, Stitt, Stitt. Okay, and he made a comment,
Yo.
that I thought was so crazy. In his statement, he said, "We will not spend one dime on education for our young people to point out to them," and I'm paraphrasing, "that white children are racist or prejudiced towards people of color and or transgender." And he was so adamant. I mean, they got a House bill that they passed, 1775, that says that we're not going to allow our white children to be faced with all of the things that white people have done uh, throughout history, period, and especially in the state of Oklahoma. So he made a bold statement by signing this bill and putting it into play that we're not just going to accept this part of history, and we're not going to allow our children to be taught all of the things that they have done, that would, point out to them that, white children or the white race was responsible for the extinction of Indians and the massacre of blacks, and even fast forward till now, the prejudice that they have towards transgenders. And he signed the bill. He put it into law. It's a law in Oklahoma now that they will not spend not one dime on education to make these historical facts aware to the children in the state of Oklahoma. That's just, some more of that tone that we get from number 45. Oh,
Yeah.
we don't have to admit anything,
It's because
oh,
I said so.
right, we don't have to admit anything,
Hey,
Right.
by
it's
the
not
way, just a little statistic I just looked up. Oklahoma, out of 50 states, ranks 43rd in education. So there you have it.
43rd.
He's
Okay.
a product of his own bullshit.
Yes, man.
Mm.
Yeah.
They're just
Yeah.
dumb. I
Yeah.
mean, 43rd out of 50, you're just fucking dumb.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah. That
Yeah.
just that says it all. It's loud and clear.
Yeah.
Wow.
And just as a point of reference, I pulled up a map that points out all through the early 1900s all of the black massacres that
Oh,
took place in the United States. Like they got Chicago 1919, Springfield 1908, East St. Louis 1917. Those are just in Illinois. New York had one in 1863. Uh, Philadelphia had one in 1985.
Mm.
Washington had one in 1919. Wilmington, Delaware, 1898. And, the list goes on and on. I mean, we go all the way to New Orleans, 1866. Opelousas, 1868. Colfax, 1873.
And if you notice, most of those that you listed either took place right after slaves were freed or during the Reconstruction era.
Yes.
The bombing in 1985 was crazy when they literally dropped bombs into a house because there were scary black people in there, something that's never been done anywhere. But they firebombed a house just because there was, black people weren't acting right.
Right. Yeah. It's crazy, man. Atlanta had one in 1906. I mean, the list is there of black massacres. And these are the types of things that are part of what you want to say American history. They took place. It's a part of American history, just like the extinction of the indigenous people of this country. There are tribes that do not exist anymore because of the Europeans that came over here. Yeah, that literally, I think about
they brought smallpox and wiped out everybody. 90% of the Native American population was wiped out because of smallpox.
And massacres. They massacred them. They scalped
them. Yeah, but mostly it was smallpox. I mean,
disease.
That smallpox
that came from
did
Europe.
10 times more damage than murders and massacres did. Not to excuse the murders and massacres, of course, but it was just filthy Europeans coming over here and just getting everybody sick.
Yeah. Yeah, it's they've got a few nations that are still in existence of indigenous people now, but they're treated, on reservations worse than any ghetto you can ever imagine.
That would take us an hour to talk about that alone.
I know, man. They treat these people so bad on what they call protected land reservations.
Yeah, and by the way, if anyone has a problem with the fact that I use the phrase filthy Europeans, please send your letters to Lee Michaels at Street News Now.
And I will answer them.
Oh my God. I love it.
Funny.
I love
it. That's a good one. Thank you very much. All I need is some more grief in my life.
I do what I can for the show.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate it.
I love it. But to the panel, like you said, Chocolate Yoddah, that's very profound information. 43rd in out of all 50 states, they're in education. They're at the bottom.
What is 50? Who's at the absolute bottom?
I think it's Kentucky. It might be Kentucky.
Come on, Mitch McConnell land.
Yeah, Kentucky's at the bottom of the list for just about every category. If you look at economy, meaning like income, if you look at education, if you look at obesity, they're just poverty, everything. It's Kentucky, and of course it makes sense when you have a lizard running your state. This is what happens.
Yeah.
A lizard.
So, I mean, I've often wondered, and I kind of knew that without having the numbers to support my gut, but that's why Mitch McConnell keeps getting reelected, because the people just don't understand civics. Because
what a coincidence. They stopped teaching that in schools, huh?
Yeah. By design.
It's almost like, think about the stuff that they don't equip people for after 12 years, just not even counting college, but 12, 13 years of education, if you count, preschool, kindergarten, whatever.
Yeah.
There's no understanding of how the government works. There's no understanding about how money works. There's no understanding about how to manage your emotions. Because again, going back to the first story that Chris covered, that is a result of adults that don't know how to manage their emotions. And none of these things that can easily be taught in school are taught. And it's almost like the owners of society benefit from ignorant people.
Yeah. It's called pimping. Think about it.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing. And they're pimping ignorant people to the max, and you don't know you're getting pimped. When somebody tells you you're getting pimped, and here are all the reasons and all the signs and everything to prove that you're being pimped, and you still don't believe it.
Sure, that's how people that live in trailer parks were supporting a guy with a golden toilet.
Yeah.
That's in speaking of trailer parks, it was really funny when Republicans were trying to push against the estate tax. They mobilized poor people. And the poor people were like, yeah, I know I live in a trailer park, but one day I might have an estate. I don't want to pay estate tax. And it's like, no, one day you're going to be in a different trailer park, but
with a blue tarp, because you got a hole in the roof of your trailer. And the guys that's living in the shotgun house, you shooting the front door right out the back door. Your house is a total of 675 square feet, and you got the nerve to hate someone. Yeah. And you keep bringing a guy back into office like Mitch McConnell that brings no bacon to your table.
Nothing.
He's doing nothing for you.
If anything, he's counterproductive.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he threatened to quit, but then he hasn't moved anywhere. He's still standing there fighting, talking about my party's against this, my party's against that. He ain't going nowhere.
And do me a favor, don't vote for this. Yeah. Do you a favor.
Right.
It's not about you, man. It's about the people.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so twisted. It's all about them, not about us.
Yeah.
And I would say the same thing if a Democrat said that.
Yeah, the famous quote from Abraham Lincoln, people tend to put the emphasis in the wrong parts of the quote. They say, for the people, by the people, of the people. When eyewitnesses said that he put the emphasis on the word people. He said that government was for the people, by the people, of the people. But here's the dirty secret of America is that it's never been about the people. Before it was formed, it was clear that the founding fathers had an agenda. Because you notice there were no regular people that came over and founded this country. It was all business people. Okay? And James Madison wrote, and I'm going to paraphrase, that the role of the government is to protect the opulent few from the poor many. Okay, that's a fact. That was written in the constitutional during the Constitutional Convention of 1787, and this was the reality of this new country. Is that yes, they did some bold things in terms of a democratic rule of law, in terms of due process that didn't exist anywhere else. And even if they didn't exist in the form that they put forth. So they deserve credit for that. But the fact is that they created this country in their own image for them. And it's never changed since then. Bottom line.
Do you think it will ever change?
No, because people don't abdicate power. That's the flaw of communism. If you look at Marxist communism, it's beautiful on paper. It's a great idea, man. Everybody helping one another. Nobody rules anybody. It's all let's just take care of business and be happy and let's thrive. But here's what happens. The assumption in Marxism is that people are going to voluntarily abdicate power. And that's where it goes wrong, because nobody ever does that. That's why Mitch McConnell didn't quit. Why would he quit? He became a wealthy man because of everything that he was doing. He's not going to stop that.
And how much does a senator make?
Well, so it depends on what you're judging, right? If you're talking about their salaries, it's one thing. Yeah. But if you're talking about their net worth, the average senator is worth over $1 million. The average congressman is something like $900,000.
So okay. I have made in my broadcast career more money than a senator and a House of Representative member combined in a year. Mm-hmm. And I'm not worth $30, $40, $50 million.
Right.
So somebody explain to me
if you're just counting their income, what they get paid, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But then remember that they legalized bribery. Right? That's what lobbying is. Lobbying is legalized
and
bribery,
a lot of
and so
people don't
the people
understand that.
the people that stand to benefit from
Right.
legalized bribery are the ones making the decisions on whether legalized bribery should exist in the first place.
So they don't go to jail for inside trading or anything like that.
No, they don't go to jail for hardly anything. And as a matter of
Right,
fact,
right.
one of the biggest, again, a big secret about Washington D.C. is that it's essentially Deadwood. During the frontier days of America, there were several states that had no laws. Deadwood was one of them. It was famously depicted in the show called Deadwood on HBO.
Deadwood, right.
Washington, D.C. has no laws for the lawmakers.
Yeah, and for a lobbyist to stroll into Washington and offer up, plenty of fringe benefits, resort, private planes,
Drugs,
all,
sex, let's be honest.
all of those things, they get cars delivered, anything that they might want, they can
They
receive.
get private islands with underage children to have sex with.
all of
This
that.
is the reality of what these people are doing. Okay.
Yep.
And it's all because they are in power, they make the rules, they make the laws. So
Exactly.
This is
And
an
it's in their
insane
favor.
system. So to answer your question, is it possible? Of course, anything is possible. Is it likely? I don't think so.
Yeah.
No, they're not going to change the laws, the rules.
They all benefit
That's going to
them.
be, yeah, exactly. It's all about, that's why most of these guys walk away from successful legal practices and doctors to go into Washington, D.C., because it's unlimited what you can do.
And then they trade chairs. If you track the people that have been in politics since the 70s, they first go into Congress, then they go into Senate, then they go into consulting, then they go into a defense company, then they go into aspects of the military, and then they become judges, and they just keep trading places. Again, that
Trading
was
up.
that was depicted in the show Boardwalk. That's Nucky Johnson. His family, that's what they did. One would be the councilman and the Ehrlichman or whatever they call themselves, and they would just literally just trade seats in the seats of power in that state. And that's what American government is. And it's certainly not for us.
Yeah.
It's not for poor people. It's
They don't want to make
people.
it easy for you to go to the polls and vote.
Of course.
They changing that constantly. Yeah.
Was it 14 states have already put it into play?
Yeah, and it's changing, and it's still more states are coming on board with changing the election rules and regulations for each state. They don't want folks to have an equal opportunity to vote. They don't want that.
Not.
No, they don't.
But you know what? Listen. Here's the bottom line. The Republicans are doing something that's really stupid. What they're doing is pissing off intelligent people. Now, if you've got, and I hate saying this, but I'm just telling the truth. If your IQ is 2 points below plant life, you're going to go for the okie doke. Okay? You're going to believe the lies, the big lie and the double big lies coming out of these selfish, self-serving, egotistical politicians. Most of them are Republicans. There's some Democrats that ain't too cool as well. But here's the thing. You're going to lose, but they're also going to piss off a lot of Democrats, and we're going to come out in full force, regardless of how difficult you're making it. I will stand in line for 3 damn days if need be to cast my vote.
We just saw that in November. I mean, let's remember that Biden got 15 million more votes than Clinton did.
Yeah.
So you're absolutely right. Pissed off Democrats are a force to be reckoned with.
There was a special election in New Mexico, and the lady that won, she won by a landslide, like 65% or something of the vote, just a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
And she's a Democrat.
Yeah, and Stacey Abrams ain't sitting down. She's standing up.
Yeah.
She's pointing out
God bless her.
all over the country where these people are acting a fool. You know, they're acting a fool. Oh, wait a minute. Let me tell you all about this one. Let me tell you about that one. She's not just in Georgia. She's pointing them out all over the country where
And
they're acting
that's
up.
what's necessary. You got to do that.
Oh, yeah. Let me tell you what they did stupid in Tennessee. I know that go together, stupid in Tennessee. but
remember, that's Lee Michaels at Street News Now.
Let me delete that email address right now.
Look, they just passed a law that says that anybody 18 and over can have a gun publicly without having any type of concealed carry, any type of ID, as long as they're 18 and over in the state of Tennessee, they're allowed to have a gun.
I think I'm going to invest in some funeral homes in Tennessee.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah, that's my next move.
Oh,
let's let Darwinism do its work.
Man, look, that was crazy. They don't know if they're convicted felons or whatever. As long as they're over 18, they're allowed to, and it don't have to be concealed. It can be open carry.
Open carry.
Yeah.
Open
and here's the best part of that logic. It's when people say guns don't kill people, people kill people.
Yeah,
well, if people are the problem, why are you giving the problem guns?
Yeah, that's right. Making it easy for them. You want to make it easy for 18-year-olds, that may have issues
their main issue is that they're 18 years old.
Yeah.
We don't trust 18-year-olds to do anything.
No, right. In most states, you can't buy cigarettes unless you're 21 or
you can't drink.
18?
Yeah,
unbelievable.
When
I heard that,
outrageous.
oh man,
but they don't want you to vote.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. They'll make it difficult for you to vote, but make it easy for you to go buy a damn gun at 18.
Yeah. You can sign your life away to the military, but you can't buy beer to celebrate that.
Yeah, exactly.
You talking earlier about the government, how it works. Funny about art imitating life and vice versa. So 1992 was a movie called The Distinguished Gentleman with Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
Plays a shyster who gets involved in politics. He's voted into Congress. Jeff Johnson, the name you know, because Jeff Gardner was the original Jeff Johnson. He took a dirt nap, and then he took over his name, but didn't show his face because he was black. Once he got voted, he came out and showed his face. Everybody was, no new taxes, read my lips, and blah, blah, blah. Gets into government and shows you how he's able to finagle himself to get financial gain. That's not far from the truth. It's probably damn near the truth to it. People that work in the military, work in Congress, or work in the government. And when the movie came out, it was like, base, man, he must have some intel because that's how it goes down.
Yeah.
If you look at the rules of government, it's astonishing. Your head will spin. You will not be able to believe that this is how America runs. It's absurd.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Do you think that's why there were so many people out there at the Capitol trying to overturn the House and the Senate?
Absolutely.
Well, I think that's because America has way too many stupid people that are, and to blame it on Antifa, it's like, first of all, Antifa stands for anti-fascism. Why would Antifa prevent a vote that was in its favor?
Right.
You got to be dumb to accept these.
No, but see,
these are all flat earthers. You have to understand that all of these people have the same mentality as a flat earth person. They are stupid beyond measure, and they are a danger to society.
I still got those tickets on that cruise ship back to Africa.
I ain't going, as my old friend Andre Egliston would say, with his South Florida accent, I'm not going nowhere.
Hey man, Marcus Garvey had something, working there, man.
Yeah.
Back to Africa movement,
I'm on Marcus's team.
Yeah, hey man.
I'm gonna stay right here and fight it out.
At least the crooks you can identify a lot better over there because they'll be the same color as you are. Yeah,
That
that's
might
for
be
sure.
good. I'm not sure. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to test it. I'm not going to pack up and go to Africa and then get disappointed over there too. Because I mean, just a short minute ago, I mean there was problems in South Africa and everywhere else. So what's the difference? Really, is there a difference?
Well, like I said, the politicians over there are more your color. The police over there are more your color.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, it's, you know, you got to look at things like this, okay? Most of us on the panel here are, you know, in the fall and like you, Lee, in the winters of our life, okay?
Damn.
And you know, so
damn, Ron is just hitting hard tonight.
You know,
winter.
We might need a standing 8 count after that. Damn.
I know, right?
we just looking for some place to find peace and quiet, happiness. You know, we ain't trying to, you know, you know, we're not young starting over in life. We just need a place where, you know, they ain't kicking our door down trying to lynch us or something, you know? And, you know, you can find a place, you know, where it's peace and happiness, good weather, you know, man, we're going to be all right. You know, some of these young people, you know, they've got a future ahead of them that they still got to fight. You know, they got to fight, you know?
Well, despite that incredibly low bar of going someplace where you're not getting hanged, I think, in my opinion, the difference in moving to certain parts of Africa, because there's two things to keep in mind. Number one, what Americans are shown about Africa is not Africa. Africa has wealthy nations, very resource-rich nations, and lots of opulence, okay, and lots of beauty. But that's not what's shown to Americans. And also, the second thing, again, in my opinion, is that if you look at the outcomes for societies that tend toward homogeny, if they're mostly homogenous, mostly one race, there tends to be better outcomes for those societies. America's biggest challenge is that it's not really a melting pot. That's a misnomer. When you think of an actual melting pot, you understand how flawed that metaphor is, because when you put different metals into a melting pot, they become homogenized. They all become one thing, and that's not what happens in America. America's like a giant salad bowl. There's lots of different ingredients, and they all have to figure out a way to work together, but they never come together.
Yeah,
I like my salad with a lot of ingredients, except for onions. I'll tolerate a few tomatoes. No anchovies. I guess I don't like a lot of my.
That is the most old man thing that I've heard you say.
Yeah, I don't like all that old weird shit.
Well, you know, you get
it's a metaphor, Lee. It's a goddamn metaphor.
I got it.
You get to choose what goes in your salad when you're in the winter of your life. You know,
That's
so
right.
you get to do that
when you're near death, as Ron would have us think.
That's right.
Your life is on an egg timer right now.
Just put up with me, okay?
Just wheel him to the window so he gets a lot of light.
Oh yeah,
That's right.
yeah. Put him in the front yard. Give him an umbrella.
Oh man.
Yeah, put him out there in his wheelchair. A glass of lemonade.
Oh,
careful you don't break a hip.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Well, we do have options in other places in the world that we can possibly go to and enjoy ourselves, and that's the point that I'm trying to make. I mean, America is what it is. It's not going, I hate to say it, it's not. It might not get any better in my lifetime. You know, we might pick at the scab a little bit more here and there to try and bring awareness to what's going on. But it's a big scab, man. You know, and it's not a
Just
good
remember,
thing.
it didn't become a full democracy until 56 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So let me go around the table here, Chris. If you had unlimited financial resources and you wanted to go somewhere else to live, where would that be? Got $10 million in the bank, debt free.
Which about going to a different state or different country?
But that's on you.
There you go, Chris. Think big.
Serious shit here.
Can I move uptown?
Yeah,
wherever you want to go.
Yeah, start from the bottom. Now we're here. No, I would probably just say Hawaii.
Why?
Well, I think more because my family, when we had vacation there, talked about just how great it was, and to one day. Okay, no comment about it there. No comment. That's just a damn thing.
Damn.
That's a damn thing.
That's confidence for you.
That's just damn. No. Well, fuck the question. This is what I don't like. Now,
go ahead, man.
Motherfuckers on this panel. After me. Did I say anything to her? Hell no. I use my time.
That was a curveball to the ankle. Bam! You are now crippled.
Oh, man.
Yeah. That's funny. Red beans and rice. That was a good one. That was a good one.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sure.
She took you off your square. She took you off your square.
Totally.
I'm going to, because I know me. Let me back the fuck up and retrace and get back to me later on, because that was just
You got COVID brain now, don't
Can't
you?
handle the heat, man. Got to be able to hit that curveball.
No,
right?
It ain't about the heat. It's about me returning the heat, and I ain't trying to get in no conversation with nobody. So fuck
But
that.
you got to learn to stay focused.
Fuck
Okay.
Some things need to be addressed right then and there.
Well, man.
Because you deal with hard-headed people.
That's right. Okay. Well, let's rewind here for a second.
Here we go.
Okay. So where would you go to Hawaii? And the reason for going to Hawaii was for what?
Because my family always had these endearing comments about Hawaii, and
okay,
I thought at one point as a kid we might move there ourselves. So hearing about all these years, and we always talked about where we can go afterwards. I like to go with Hawaii.
Okay, well, you got $10 million. You could last for about 2 years over there, because everything is sky high over there.
Oh,
okay.
And you're still in America, but it's a beautiful place.
Yodah, where would you go?
It's a toss-up. Costa Rica is a good pick. It actually requires less money.
Mm-hmm.
I would say Denmark is high on my list. Several countries in Africa, absolutely. But yeah, I've looked into it only in a cursory way, but just to satisfy my curiosity of what was possible. And there are several places outside of America where the climate is the way I like it, and the culture is the way I like it, the opportunity is the way I like it. So there are options, definitely.
Okay, so Costa Rica would be your first choice?
Yeah. Costa Rica is absolutely gorgeous, and the cost of living is ridiculously low.
Yeah. All right, Dr. Ron?
My first choice would be Ghana, West Africa. I love it there. And like Yodah was speaking, the cost of living there is so dirt cheap. You can live there. The climate is beautiful. Man, you can eat off the ocean every day because it's right there on the ocean. Accra is the capital. It's a big city, but you can also get suburban areas where you can have your own little villa or whatever.
Wait a minute, Ron, you work
Yes,
for the
yes.
tourist board there or something? Are you getting paid?
No. I'm just like, man, I
You know a
love it
lot
there.
about it.
Yeah, I've been there. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
then
see.
if I were to take trips, like I would say the Bahamas. I love the Bahamas as well, but the cost of living in the Bahamas is so expensive. So trip, maybe go there, every other year to the Bahamas and hang out. But living, definitely, I would love to live in Accra, Ghana. Man, it's gonna happen one day. That's why I'm trying to get y'all to buy these other tickets I got on this boat, so we can all go over there and hang out,
Mm-mm. Not happening.
I know that's right. Yeah.
You know, it's funny because Costa Rica would definitely be on my list as well.
Yeah.
But I think it would probably be somewhere that I don't know about. Maybe an island that's not much on it. Go buy
you
me
could
an
try Bora
island.
Bora. I've been there. That was
Yeah.
spectacular.
But see, there are people there. Right? There are people in Bora Bora. I don't.
Right.
I want my own private island with a
You
landing
might try
pad.
the Seychelles in Africa.
Yeah, you can buy your own island in the Bahamas too.
Yeah, I'm
They'll
thinking
sell
of
you an island. Yeah,
Yeah, but they have hurricanes there, so scratch
definitely.
that.
Yeah, definitely.
But I want it to be warm year round. I don't
You
want to
can
see
try
any
the South
snow.
Pacific. The South Pacific has a lot of little islands. As a matter of fact, Marlon Brando bought an island, or I think around
I
Tahiti.
remember that. Yeah. See, that's kind of where my head is. And now red beans and rice, she's so confused. Look at her list.
Yeah.
So see, Chris, you don't have to worry because her list is totally different than yours. So you don't have to worry. You can go anywhere else in the world except those places, and you won't run into
You'll
her
be
again.
fine. Yeah.
You'll be cool in the game.
Look, you said Hawaii. It's not even on her list.
There you go. And by the way, St. Lucia is a stripper that I know.
Oh man.
I'm going to screenshot that and keep it.
Boom. Oh, funny. You guys are on a roll again.
I know. Hey, life in the big city. What can you say?
Here's a good question. Chris, do you have a passport?
I ain't going to tell your ass.
Well, you know what? I don't have one. Mine expired probably at least 10 years ago.
Wow.
I have one, and it's current.
I got to get one because I'm about ready to bust a move,
Yeah, I renewed it during COVID just in case.
Yeah, I did too. I renewed mine last year.
But you couldn't go nowhere, so that's a waste of money.
Hey man, look,
I said just in case, man. Better to have and not need than need and not have.
Look, it's also a good piece of ID. You know what I'm saying? If you got to prove who the hell you are, passport works.
When I went to get my license renewed recently, they require what is this new license called?
The Real ID you talking
Real
about?
ID.
Yeah.
They won't take a photocopy of your birth certificate. I told the lady, she almost fell out of her chair laughing. I said, lady, you got to understand, I'm so damn old, I got the first version of a printed, birth certificate. Everybody else was writing some shit in the Bible. She just cracked. Oh, my God. She just had
Lee's birth certificate was printed on the Gutenberg.
Right. Exactly.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. So, yeah, I got to get one because I think I want to go somewhere. I don't know where I want to go. I've been so happy here in the United States of America.
Yeah, right.
It's the land of opportunity.
Look, here's a guy that rides through the desert just for kicks, okay?
That would be me.
He's scouting for places to bury people.
That's right.
Oh, my God. Back and forth from L.A. to Vegas, okay.
I know that road well, man. I'm the road.
Yeah.
They call me roadkill on 15. Interstate 15. I'm roadkill.
No telling what the hell.
Yeah.
So you guys think that just so we can put some more hate mail coming into Street News Now, you think that that the Europeans should or should not teach the fact that they are racist?
Well,
Well,
they
I've never met a
should.
racist that thought he was a racist. That's for
Yeah.
starters. But remember, all of education, all of history is written by the ruling class. And so
You're
what
gonna
they
give
should do
yourself
and
a
what they're
bad
going to
report
do
card,
is a
right?
different thing,
Yeah.
So, I think history is something that's best if it's accurate and honest, but that's not what we usually get.
Yeah. Because it's not going to be in the favor of the majority or the people who want to or who have control over writing the history. It's like this governor saying, "Hey, we're not gonna fund it. We're not gonna teach it. We're not gonna tell the truth.
Right.
We're not gonna tell the ugly side of who we were or who we are. We're not gonna do it." So as long as he is in control, he can do what he wants to do. It's like the governor in Texas says to the legislature down there, I'm not gonna pay you because you guys walked out. You didn't vote the way I wanted you to vote. So
Right.
you ain't gonna get a paycheck. I'm
I
gonna
don't think
hold
I
your
don't
money.
think I don't think he can do that. Actually,
I would hope not.
yeah, I don't think he
That's
can actually
that's
do that. He
that's
said it.
extortion.
He said it like he really had the power and the ability to be able to do it. But the
Right.
comptroller cuts checks. I think we had that problem in Illinois one time where the governor made a threat that he was not going to pay the legislatures. And the comptroller says, "You ain't got to worry about that. I write the checks." So
Yeah, but
it
who
was
who
over.
hires and fires the comptroller?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's elected officials, so they get voted in. So
Yeah, but
Yeah.
almost anybody can be fired.
yeah, only on the next election. Yeah,
Could be. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Go ahead, Chris.
Well, as you just said, the one who's in control controls the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
So, to a degree, what do you expect is same verse, same as the first. And we're going to keep on getting this until we again have alternatives. And we have had alternative histories that found out they were more accurate to what we got in our schools because, again, it was written to give us a story, a lullaby, not the truth. And so you're able to edit. I mean, no offense to people who love, the Bible and their religious, that's been edited over the years,
Yeah.
over the centuries. So are we getting the true history or not? So it's up to us individually or your families and friends to find out what the
Mm-hmm.
truth is when it lies for you and who else around you. Because again, you can't put stock in these things we grew up with because there was no stock to begin with. It was just
Yeah.
stories.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, look, let's face it. And again, this is not a pro or con statement. This is a statement of fact. The Bible was written by people that didn't know what bacteria was. They didn't know where the sun went at night. And as you said, not only was it was edited 26 years in a row by a committee at the Council of Nicaea.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it was translated from several languages. So, and every new Bible that was written was copied by hand in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a lot of room for error. Did you ever play the telephone game with a group of people? In 5 minutes, 2 sentences can become completely mangled.
Absolutely.
So, and the Bible wasn't even compiled until 325 years after the alleged incidents of Jesus Christ.
Exactly. And you go by the telephone game, just like if you tell somebody a story, it's already going to change up between the person you told and then they tell somebody. So it's already changed the whole tone and narrative. So we can't expect the truth because what happened to the truth when it became, look, I'm going to tell you this version. Okay, got it. It's already been changed since somebody else going to say something else to the other person or persons. So it's up to us to find out exactly what the truth lies as far as we see it. If we have to consider everything the stories we've been told and other alternative books information that would counter against that. So that way we can make the comparisons. And then you just judge for yourself. You go by one book, one narrative, one cadence. You can be led to anything.
Yeah, and always consider the source. Always.
Yeah, I think we are truly accountable for making our history known, because it's our history. And I think we have to work even harder to make sure that our stories get told more than anybody else, because like you said, they don't care about our stories. It's our history. These
I
are
mean,
our stories.
so few people knew about the Tulsa massacre.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and there are so many. There's so many, like the story of Nat Turner, and that's just one of dozens of slave revolts that nobody knows about. Nobody knows the history of Haiti and how without Haiti fighting against Napoleon, the Louisiana Purchase would have never happened.
Right.
And these things are just not taught because the oppressive ruling class is not interested in teaching the complete history of America. They want to give you the propaganda, the sound bites, the things that make people all teary-eyed when fireworks are going off over their head.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, we have someone on the phone here, one of our contributing broadcasters, Alpha.
Good evening, gentlemen.
What's up, Alpha?
How are you doing?
Everything's fine. How you guys doing?
We're
You gotta
rocking,
bring his
jocking, and
volume
finger
up.
popping.
You got to bring his volume up.
Okay. Come on in, Alpha. Talk to me.
Is that better?
Still a
It's
Is
little.
that better?
Sounds fine
Yes,
to me.
he's
It's
good,
coming
he's
in.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So what's your thoughts on what we've been talking about?
Well, history is always told by the victors. But the problem is the victors are fading. The victor's history is nothing more than a political game. And I got to say, a much successful game when they basically lied to us about the history of this country and lied to us about our history. You know, there are things that they're not proud of, but yet there are things that still should be brought to light. They don't teach the massacre in Tulsa or the massacre in the multiple venues around the South and around this country. The primary thought of not teaching true history rings loud when you start talking about reparations for Black people. Mm-hmm. And go down the list of the people who have gotten reparations and just sit back and look at the different cases. The federal judge, Norval, I think was his name, here in Chicago, I was in the federal building in the courtroom, and we had maybe 4 lawyers. The room filled up with lawyers from the other side. They've gone to a great deal of expense to keep truth from coming up. And when Black people consistently raise the truth, it's always the tired, we're tired of hearing about this. He can go play the race card. Black people and the people who would disseminate these truths are often marginalized, and they fade and go away. This is not a game of saying the truth once. The truth must be spoken more than once. You can't say something that is true for one time, because if they lie over and over again.
That's right. That's the loudest voice.
It just kills me especially with, what we're going through. And you've got two senators who won't man up and realize that they're being played by Republicans over and over.
How do we deal with that, Alpha? What should Biden do as it relates to those two Democrats that didn't vote along party lines, which is what was needed to show solidarity and force against these radical nutball whack job Republicans?
Well, you have to look at what Republicans did to keep their people afraid and in line.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing you have to do. You must tell Manchin and Sinema their careers as senators are over in 2024. I thought Manchin was done. His term was up in 22, and I was wrong. But Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema must be tethered to the obstruction. There's another senator out there, there's a third senator out there who says, and I think it's a woman, who says that she will not vote to get rid of the filibuster. And I can't think of it. I heard that today. And I just didn't hold on to that info. But the Democrats have always had a problem with
they're not true party Democrats.
These Dino.
Right. They're blue dogs, right?
Exactly. Kristen Sinema, the group that basically brought her in and got her through the primary and won and got her elected. They are hot. They are so hot. Hey, they can cook a 3-course meal. This is how hot this group is. They are pissed off at her. But no one seems to be able to get across to them. Your career is over. What Joe Biden needs to do is to sit the Justice Department on. This isn't time for I'll let the Justice Department be the Justice Department. And if you think that makes them no better than the Trump administration, okay. But he's not basically sicking the Justice Department on someone for a motive. You won't get in line. We'll have to have the Justice Department file a suit for each and every one of those states that take on this new voter suppression. Mm-hmm. What Joe Biden can do, Joe Biden can declare all of the states who pass this Voting Rights Act and suppress the vote. We will defund them. And it's not hard to do.
No, it isn't. But would that be perceived by some people as playing politics? I mean, that's what the Republicans are doing. But
who are some people?
Well, some Democrats and all of the Republicans.
Okay.
The people that will be affected by it.
If that's playing politics, what have they left us with? Are we going to just stand by and watch the democracy crumble? Mm-hmm. Because if we don't pass H.R. 1 and H.R. 4, our democracy will surely crumble. You can go in with the Justice Department and challenge all of these new laws in court because they make no sense. Why is it the black community, their voting venues have these long lines for the last 8 years, 10 years? And in the white community, you can walk right in, sit right down, and vote. Why is that?
Well, because there are not enough polling places in the highly populated black communities, number one. Number two, most of the, or I wouldn't say most, but a lot of the white voters have been voting by mail forever. So when in this last election, it was pumped up about voting by mail, and especially because of COVID, they got upset and go, "Oh no, that's cheating. You have no control. It's not going to be legit." So they came up with every excuse possible to try to discredit the process. In the process, so
the process that started during the Civil War.
Exactly.
And if voting by mail is fraud potential, what does that say about our soldiers, our troops overseas who vote by mail? I mean, it's still about messaging. You have to get your message out there.
No question.
And you have to be able to pull that scab off of the big lie. And there's no place better to do it than in a court of law. And reveal the fact that there are no voting irregularities.
But we've been through the court. I mean, how many different times has that whole lie been in front of a judge, and it's been knocked down every place, everywhere? 64 different times. And the lie continues. Why? Because they know how to tell a lie and stick with it over and over and over again, because eventually you will brainwash the weak-minded people that go, "Oh yeah, well they said it on Fox, so it's got to be real."
Yep.
And I hear it all the time.
Doesn't care what the truth is. It doesn't matter. When you have a consistent messaging, which that's the one thing that I can give the Republican Party credit for. They are consistent in their messaging. Then the truth doesn't matter.
Well, that's the problem. The truth doesn't matter.
Well, the other problem is that Democrats are phenomenal at snatching defeat out of the jaws of victory. This is a party that's fighting within itself while they're in power and can actually make some phenomenal changes.
Amen.
We can go back and forth that their messaging is profound and it's out front. What happened to their lies when they came before a judge? That's why you sue them continuously and force the conversation in a courtroom. The ACLU and all of the Voting Rights Act, the National Actor Network, take them all of them. Take these people to court and have them speak about the voter, confirming the vote, whatever the hell they want to call it. But in every state, they said that there were no irregularities. So what is the bill about? What are these new voting restrictions? Why are you destroying souls to the polls? You have to create the cesspool and throw them in to be devoured by their own lives. All of this stuff makes absolutely a carnival, a joke out of democracy. And democracy is what's under attack. And that must be the battle cry coming from the Democrats when it comes to these voting laws. These people aren't patriots. This is just a wing of the neo-Nazis, the Klan, the right-wing Republicans, Russia. All of this goes right back to Russia. And the people who are fomenting these narratives are nothing more than useful idiots for Russia. because
you know what drives me crazy is they're doing another recount in Arizona,
which is insane.
Yeah, I mean, who's paying for that?
The taxpayers.
Why?
thank,
Why?
They don't have a
I
choice.
mean, they did
grab
a
your money
recount.
before you get it.
How many recounts do you need to have before you accept the truth?
well, that's the thing. What they did was they took it before a judge. And the judge who issued the favorable ruling for them to have the first one, then we must attack that judge, because that judge has made a very poor decision. You must appeal what he has done. You must not give in and say, accept what some appellate judge. You must fight this all the way to a 6-3 Supreme Court. So
yeah, but the problem with that, though, even though I understand what you're saying and I agree with it, the problem is that the damage is already done. What really needs to happen is that it needs to be a situation where this cannot happen, because as long as it can happen, it will happen. You know, catching people in a lie after the fact doesn't nullify the effect of the lie. So we've got to get to a place where the lie is not even tolerated to begin with, and these wacky, radical judges that don't care about the Constitution or the country that they live in can't have this kind of power.
Well, see, the problem, guys, is simple in my mind, at least. You can go to court, you can get a ruling from the court that says this is bullshit. You can have all the experts on TV and on the internet saying it's bullshit, but they won't stop spreading the lie or lies.
Right,
they won't stop. They just keep on going. Now the latest crazy idea or concept or possibility is in August, Biden is going to be kicked out of the White House, and Trump is going to be back in.
Yeah,
based on what?
Based on just your imagination once again.
Running away.
They're saying that. They actually are walking around saying that.
Well, that started with Dump, and I think other people might have said it before him too. But look, it's just look, you can say that tomorrow unicorns are going to invade Mississippi. That doesn't make it so.
Right. But in my lifetime, I remember a lie being kicked down and it was over with.
Yeah. And this is obviously a particularly stupid lie. This is just a man-child who is a loser and a stupid human being that cannot come to grips with the fact that he was humiliated by the guy that he referred to as Sleepy Joe. Mm-hmm. That's what this is about. This is about ego and fragility. You want to talk about Snowflake? He's Snowflake number one.
That's why you get him in jail as soon as possible. You indict him as soon as possible.
Well, they're working on it. New York City is coming to the rescue, as always.
He said always.
Will they get it?
Name me the long list of states that have dealt with big criminals like this, Ron.
I agree. I agree. Yeah. Yeah, look, they took down the entire Italian mob, okay?
Yeah. Well, sort of. They took down one guy.
Yeah.
They look, it was New York
down.
It was New York City / New York State that took down John Gotti with the help of Robert Mueller. And Robert Mueller is the reason why Dump is being indicted now. Mm-hmm. People forget that. They thought that his stuff was useless. No. If you remember, Mueller refused to comment on 16 different points during the hearing, and all of those points were cases that he sent to New York State because he knows that a president cannot be pardoned from a state crime. So Mueller's a genius. And that's why Dump is facing jail right now.
Well, he's got it quite a bit. It's coming from all sides. Yeah. He is still very vulnerable to the Georgia Attorney General down there, and to the the D.C. Attorney General.
Right, just because he asked them to lie about an election? What's the big deal?
Come on,
going
everybody does that.
Just find me some votes. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You know what I mean?
Right.
Didn't the state of New York take down Lucky Luciano too?
That I don't recall. It's possible.
Okay. Yeah, I know the Fed took down Capone, and I know that was all,
that was all taxes. That was tax fraud.
Yeah, back during that time, same time, I thought they got Lucky Luciano too.
That would make for an ironic nickname.
Yeah. Not so lucky, huh?
Right.
Well, just in the past day or so, I've read, and there's a message on the screen now, that Trump has taken down his own blog. What was behind that?
His stupidity.
He couldn't believe his own lies, huh?
He's a loser.
Well, the Twitter and Facebook. After that, he's dead.
Just keep in mind that a loser with a family fortune appears to be a winner. Was his whole claim to fame, was that his father left the family 22,000 rental units, $400 million in a credit line, and connections to politicians and judges. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's what this guy was born on third base claiming to hit a triple. And it wasn't even him that made the good moves in his family. It was Robert Trump. Robert was the genius on the business side. Donnie was just the marketing, okay? And he played his role really well. He convinced people that he was a wizard of industry, and he wasn't. He never was. The guy has always been a loser. He always will be.
He lost the presidential race. He lost Senate seats. He lost House seats. He's a loser. And
Yes.
people in his party that he really doesn't give a damn about, he's just pimping them out. He doesn't care about the Republicans or the Democrats. It's all about him. They're still lining up behind him. He's a loser. He lost. It's over. Let it go. Move on. Find a better candidate. But here's the problem. If there was an election today and the Republican was running against a Democrat, anybody, it doesn't matter, who would you think could bring the Republican Party back into dominance? Name one Republican that you would trust.
Mitt Romney.
Now, when you talk about Republicans, are you talking about the old school Republican
Any damn
Party?
Republican. I don't care if they ain't born yet.
Mitt Romney's the only one.
Republican Party or the new school Republican Party.
Oh, damn it, Ron, give it up. He just said the answer. Shut up already.
Well, it's two different Republican parties here.
But there's probably 5 fractions, but it doesn't matter. Out of any so-called Republican, who would you trust?
Mitt Romney. Now,
I wouldn't trust Mitt either.
I'm only answering this in the context of the question. Mitt Romney's an idiot in my mind. He's an evil scumbag, but I think he's the only reasonable Republican that could galvanize the party.
He's a part-time reasonable thinker. He's not consistent.
Agreed, but he's the best that they have.
That's not saying much. That's the problem I have with
never
Republicans.
is. Their side stinks, but
yeah.
To answer your question, that's the only person that I can come up with.
Why not Cruz?
That's a sad
Why
state.
not Cruz?
Yeah.
Cruz is
Cruz.
He's
a clown.
He's a bigger clown than a whole lot of them, but he's campaigning hard to try to be their future.
Well, whatever.
Yeah,
he's an idiot. Yeah. He doesn't have the faith of the party. He let dumped crap all over him. Oh, forget it.
He is a 45 wannabe. Ted Cruz has no crime whatsoever. He let 45 talk about him, his father, his wife, and has no backbone whatsoever. All he did was bow down and kiss 45's ass, and now he wants to be 45. So that's right. He has no soul whatsoever. Threw his own daughters under the bus when we went on vacation.
Yeah.
So no soul whatsoever. So there's nobody in the party, as far as I'm concerned, once they bow down, once again, let the rank outsider, like Trump, come in and take over the whole party. Not even people fought back. The whole party. And made the party of 45, there is no point of no return.
No.
You can't even buy anybody in the Republican Party to come back from that. That was when they etched the contract in blood. There's no coming back.
Yeah, I think the whole Republican Party is trying to be Trump under the covers. You know,
because they believe in their own hype. They believe in the lie that's been put out there, and that's all they've got. There isn't one person in the Republican Party, man or woman, that has the guts to stand up and say, enough of this bullshit. I don't want to agree. I do not agree with anything that this man is doing, has said, or stands for. That's not the Republican Party. Name me one that has done that, other than
the lady. What about the lady who was just excommunicated?
That's it.
Liz Cheney.
Yeah.
Well, she was a goose stepper before she found the light. So.
They figure she's going to try and galvanize the old Republican regime and try and bring it back. But
so instead of drowning in 20 feet of water, they're going to drown in 10 feet of water. Good for them.
Yeah, exactly.
The Republican Party has always been, kind of like a similarist survivalist in any type of political situation. Years back, but prior, look where the Tea Party came in. Once again, rank outsiders, they latched onto that and said that was their identity. They had no identity to begin with. The only thing they had back in the day was Ronald Reagan, and he was like the quote-unquote godfather of the so-called conservative movement. And now, of course, he's taking the dirt nap. So where do you go from there?
I don't even understand why Republicans like Reagan. He did everything they hate. He negotiated with terrorists. He raised taxes. He banned. He did gun control. I don't. He gave amnesty to like 3.1 million immigrants. He literally did everything they hate. I don't get it. That party, it's the party of I'm going to say one thing and do another. And somehow they've been able to get over doing that, but it's useless. They've contributed nothing in the last 50 years.
Yeah.
Well, the problem there is the same problem that's happening now. Look at the dire straits the Republican Party has faced through the Reagan years, through the Bush years, and each time they were at the bottom of the rope. And what happened? They messaged their way back with lies, and they repeated them over and over and over again. You talk about Liz Cheney? Why? Liz Cheney is one of the most radicalized Republicans that there is. You talk about the Tea Party, and the Tea Party is a classic example of what Democrats have to do. The Tea Party came in with their crazy radical yelling and screaming, and what happened? You got what's his name? Mike Pompeo.
Yep.
Was he Secretary of State? You got Michael Lee. He's a senator in Utah. You've got, tell us how many Republican congressmen who used to be Tea Party.
Yeah. And my favorite part of the Tea Party is that they formed against taxes when taxes were at their lowest in 60 years. You can't make this stuff up.
Right. And it didn't come back to hurt them because they continued to tell that lie. It didn't hurt them. It didn't hurt their brand. It didn't hurt them, period. What happened at this point is that they had to blend into what they were about to completely take over. And if you really look at it, It's the Tea Party mentality that has grabbed and seized upon the Republican Party. And they've taken it from there. And now Trump has come in and given them the new battle cry and the new hero with a book of lies. 30,000 lies in 4 years. And that's all they do is repeat the lie. Their whataboutism, when they're called to the carpet, basically makes them seem like a rational party. And then they bring that before the people. All the while, the think tanks from the Koch brothers on, the Koch brothers had 35 think tanks. Now think about that. 35 think tanks. Each one of these think tanks worked on a specific I would call it a belief.
Right.
And that's what they worked on.
That's right.
And
Strategic, targeted various issues and brought that to the forefront.
All the way down to Alley.
Yep.
I mean, how effective have they been swaying the American people with bullshit?
They're good at it. They've spent billions of dollars spreading lies, and just think if they had invested that money into education. Just one thing, one positive thing.
Well, they can't ride on that. Frank Luntz has spent his life with the verbal, I would call it the verbal treason of the United States. How to get the United States and the government of the United States to go along with things that will not help the people. We can talk about all of the bills and the states. Look at Joe Biden. The first thing he should have done was when the governors declined the money from the bill that was passed. They declined to open up Medicaid to everybody. You defund them. That's your threat to them. Whenever you go against what is law and you want to override that and defund not taking Medicaid and all of this, we're going to defund your state. Mississippi, for every dollar you give, you get $2.03. We will give you every dollar just like you gave. You give a dollar, you get a dollar. That means you're going to get 103% cut of your federal funding from the government.
Right.
Look at all of the, if you got a list, look at all of the states. Go down. Kentucky is $1.51. Out of the top, I would call them 25 states, there are two, I'll repeat it, two blue states that get more than they give in tax. And that is a simple move. You defund them to what they give, that's what you get. And that will basically pulverize any and everything in that state. And everyone that screams and hollers, we do not fund oppressive states with oppressive voting rules. And that's the bottom line. You cannot go to any court to have that reversed. It won't happen. These two senators that are holding out, they must be brought to task. You must be able to get more senators that are Democrats. if we have to wait till 2022, it's going to be a toss-up, a real toss-up. But if it happens that we get 50 who will end the filibuster, we can still do things like expand the courts. We can do things like forgive the college debt. All of the progressive programs. Don't worry about what they're going to say. They're going to paint you as a socialist anyway.
Right.
And the argument against socialism is so easy. Well, then you don't want socialism, don't walk on our sidewalks. Don't call the police or the fire department. We have 60 socialist programs in this country, and all of them are necessity.
Yeah, that's just bad branding, though. When that was one of Bernie Sanders' biggest mistakes, is using the term democratic socialism. It's too nuanced and sophisticated for this crowd.
Yeah.
Well, that may have been a mistake, but the biggest mistake was even bigger. He did not know how to fight back from that socialism crown that they gave. He should have
the
fought
DNC
back.
didn't help by putting up Clinton instead of him, but that's a whole nother story.
Exactly. It was a matter of the people who are unwilling to be a progressive all the way. You can talk progressive, but you're not going to do a damn thing unless you go all the way to the Chuck Schumer, Dick Durbin, all of those Democrats who want to appear to be moderates. They got to go. Chuck Schumer has got to go. Not just from the head of the Senate. He's got to go, period. And that's going to be a problem for democracy and progressives who are in the Congress.
How do you make that transition without some type of a fallout, if you will, or ripple?
You're going to have fallout. You're going to have ripple. They have a track record. They have a track record of doing nothing to saying the wrong thing. Look at Nancy Pelosi, and I happen to believe Nancy Pelosi is a very good Speaker of the House. She got so many bills passed. She has a strategic vein but at this point, she's at the end of her career, and instead of her going out guns a-blazing, she's willing just to go out.
Well, I agree with you, by the way, in your analogy in terms of where the problems lie, both in the Republican world and the Democratic world. The problem I see is that transition, moving into the new millennium, moving into the future, and what that looks like. What kind of preparation on in either party right now for the future? If what the Republicans are doing looks like the future, I want no part of it. If the Democrats, what they're doing today looks like the future, I'm concerned because I don't see a clear path into the future of the Democratic Party being a stronger, more positive influence in making laws, protecting this country, the people, and making sure everybody has a fair shot in this country. Until I can see that path, I don't see them grooming, developing future leaders that are on the same accord, I don't feel it. I saw the same problem in radio. I didn't see the next Tom Joyner, the next Doug Banks, et cetera, et cetera. Nobody had created a farm league for the future. That's how I see it. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. Thanks, guys. Let's do it again next week. Same time, same station. Street News Now. Go ahead and hit that button, like, share, and subscribe. Love you. Be safe. If you haven't, give strong consideration to taking the shot.
Don't forget to send that hate mail to Street News Now.
Right. To Dr. Ron at Street News Now. Get that monkey off my back. Thanks a lot, guys. I love you.
Yes. Peace and love.
God bless all of you and be safe. All the time, not sometime, all the time. Be safe.